Hello, I'm Michael Amar. You've just seen a sample of the reactions you'll receive as you perform the magic I'm about to share with you now. For every effect which qualified for inclusion on this series, hundreds of effects were read, performed, and then cast aside in an attempt to give you the finest collection of easy-to-master card magic ever assembled on video. Our objectives were to select simple, yet powerful effects, material that beginning-level magicians could attain, yet strong enough to be included in any professional repertoire. Because our criteria for selection was so carefully constructed, all you'll need is a small handful of the effects from this series, and you'll be able to astonish people. Each learning segment will begin with a performance set that combines 2 or 3 effects that work together well. Following the performance segments, you'll learn exactly how to perform the effect just as you've seen it, along with the insights beyond the techniques that make these effects classics. Perhaps you, like many others, will consider these to be the real secrets to achieving the desired effect. Well, it's one thing for me to manipulate the cards. I thought it would be interesting to show you how the cards can manipulate themselves. Does that sound interesting?
Yes.
Okay, great. Do me a favor, pull out any card and show it to everyone. I won't look. Okay, and we'll return the card to the deck. Now, if I just leave the card there, it would be pretty easy for you to know where the card was. It'd be pretty easy to find, wouldn't it? But I'm not going to take that easy route. I'm going to put the card down in the center of the deck so that no one knows exactly where the card is. Okay? Now, all I have to do to cause the cards to manipulate themselves is to cast a shadow over the deck. As soon as I cast a shadow, you'll notice that the cards start to manipulate themselves.
Wow.
One card reveals itself from amongst the others. Go ahead, reach out. Take that card. Is that your card?
That's my card.
That's your card. You can examine the deck. There you go.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is very good.
But you know, one of my favorite... But this is probably my favorite trick of all, but it involves all of us. Everybody gets to take part in this, and in the end, we defy all the known laws of time and space. Now, that'll be pretty fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or at least 1 or 2 of them, anyway, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you say stop as I riffle down with my left thumb.
Stop.
Okay, and I'm going to have you hold out your right palm, and I'm going to place a card right there and ask you to guard it with your left hand. Okay, so he's like our guardian guy, and he's going to keep track of that card. You got it?
Got it.
Okay, and you're going to be my times person. So do you have like a sweep second hand on that watch? Okay, good. You'll be our times person. Okay, now say stop again, if you would, please.
Stop.
Right there. I'm going to have 3 cards selected. So each one of you gets your own card, but I want you to sign your card with the time, the current time, just in case that proves to be an issue later on. Now, this is going to be your card.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll have you hold on to it there. And this is going to be your card, Dawn. Okay, and I'll have you hold on to it. And why don't you put your name on that card as well, just in case any paradoxes should occur, we'll know who to come to and check with, just in case. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to have the cards returned. You'll remember your card, won't you?
I should.
Okay, and how about your card there? And so 2 cards, and it's very important that you remember what your card is. It's a very obscure effect at the end if you don't remember what your card is. And you know what the current time is?
Yes.
Okay, so you're our times person. Why don't you time me, see how long it takes me to find her card. You ready?
Okay.
Kind of watch the time there. You tell me when to go.
Go.
1, 2, and 3. Now, I'm thinking that's probably her card, but I don't know for sure. What was the name of your card?
It was the King of Diamonds.
The King of Diamonds. I got her. Now, how long did that take?
About 3 seconds.
About 3 seconds. I want to place that inside of there. You hold on to that card, okay? And I'll try to find your card even quicker. Even quicker. 3 seconds. You ready? Ready? Say go anytime.
Go.
Shut. There you go. Now, what was that? About 1 second?
About 1, yeah.
About 1 second, but we haven't confirmed yet. We don't know for sure. What was your card?
2 of spades.
The 2 of spades? Let's see. The 2 of spades. So now I've found 2 of the cards. 1 in 3 seconds, 1 in 1 second. Now, it's going to be pretty tough to find your card even quicker than I found their cards. But I'm going to give it a shot. You ready? Just say go at any time.
Go.
Done. Kind of defies all the known laws of time and space, doesn't it?
Well, yes.
Or 1 or 2 of them, anyway. You see, because what exact time did you write on the card that you signed?
10:07.
10:07. Let's see, and what time is it now?
About
10:10. Well, let's see. See, I did find your card in 1 second, and I did find your card in 3 seconds. But there's been one card in between his palms since 10:06, since before you wrote the time and your name on your card. Now, what was the name of your card?
Tanya.
Tanya? And by golly, we got it. Our opening effect, the haunted pack, was invented and made famous by the late Al Baker. It's currently been popularized by Eugene Burger, and I recommend that the serious student check out Eugene Burger's reputation-making routine and his fine touches added to it that he describes in his videotape, Eugene Goes Bizarre. We've stayed very close to the original handling that Al Baker used, with just one very minor modification, which I'll describe in a second. Now, we're going to teach this by using dental floss, so it's very obvious. All you'll need is any fine thread. It doesn't need to be invisible thread, but any fine thread that's strong. Now, here's the only minor variation that we bring to this other than the original handling, and that's the use of a rubber band at the end of the thread instead of a safety pin. This was recommended by Gary Plants because it makes it easier to adjust the length of the thread rather than to safety pin it in and have it not be long enough or too long, and then you have to unpin it and move it around. The rubber band goes between the top of the pants and the shirt, and its friction keeps the rubber band from pulling free like this. So you're not depending on the elasticity, but rather the friction properties to keep the thread held inside, and at the same time it becomes easy to move around anytime that you'd like. Now, I'm going to place this right back here, okay, and that should be about the right length for me. The card is on the bottom of the deck. Now, to get the thread to stick into it, we just tied a tiny little knot right at the end of it, and we put a slit into the card that's the width of the border with a pair of fingernail clippers. Okay? The thread just goes right between that slit and is pulled down, and later on you're going to be able to pull that free and then hand out the deck after you perform or go on to another effect, which is what we did. So now you put the deck on top. The thread goes down between the ring and the middle fingers, just like this. A card is selected. In this case, let's say the 4 of diamonds. You put the 4 of diamonds right on the bottom of the deck, and you cut the top half of the deck over to the other side so that now the selected card is trapped by that thread. And it's a nice touch to dribble the remaining cards on top like this. Square the cards up. At this point, all you have to do is move your hip back. You don't have to move your hand forward. By causing the movement, you see the movement of the deck conceals the movement of the body. Okay? Now on the return here, because we've got a particularly large knot, by tying that dental floss together, I'm going to have to help the deck move back there. You wouldn't need to do that with a normal thread. The selected card comes free. You might be able to still see the little knot and the notch of the card there. All you have to do is pivot that up. The thread falls free. Give the deck a shuffle, and the thread just lays along your leg like that, and for all intents and purposes, you're ready to go on into any other effect that you'd like. We chose to go on to Alex Elmsley's Between the Palms, which requires a little setup and an extra card. The cards that we used, you need one duplicate card, the King of Diamonds, an indifferent card, the King of Diamonds. I just cut that to the top of the deck, and we're set to go for Alex Elmsley's Between the Palms. I'm going to force the first King of Diamonds which is sandwiched in between the person's hand by means of the riffle force. That means I cut the top portion of the deck to the center. I hold a break with my left little finger, and I'm going to force that card by means of the riffle force. I riffle down, and I act as if I'm going to pick up the break right where they've riffled to, but in actual fact, I'm going to pick up the break where the little finger is holding it with the right thumb. I just thumb this card off and put this in between the palms of the spectator. At that point, I now need to force that indifferent card and the other king of diamonds. So I'm going to set 3 cards onto the table, left to right. That's the card that's going to be signed, the duplicate card, and, well, that was the card that we put the notch in, so let's say, the queen of clubs over to the far right. They'll sign this card, and just remember these 2 cards, and the cards will be returned right to left. So the first card goes into the deck, and I'll typically just hold a break there and have the second card returned on top of that. Just hold a break and have the third card returned on top of that. So now the 3 cards are back in the same order. You've got the break there, and you double cut those to the top. Now you do a double lift. So I get a break underneath 2 cards. I turn the 2 cards over as 1. And there's the duplicate that's already between the palms, okay, concealed by the signed card. It's concealing the signed card there because of the double lift. Now you turn the 2 cards over, and instead of putting the king of diamonds in between the palms, you put the signed card in between the palm. So now, for all intents and purposes, all the work is done. I do a slip cut, which is just to cut the top card into the center of the pack, simulating a regular cut. And that brings the next selection back to the top, and that goes in between the palms. Then you just drop the deck like this and say it's done. You reach inside, you take out the queen of clubs, you take out the king of diamonds, the 2 cards that had apparently been cut to, and then you reveal that the card that was in between the palms all along is the signed selection. And that's Alex Elmsley's Between the Palms. With the haunted pack, it's one thing to perform a card trick that makes people say, I'd hate to play cards with you. But it's another thing altogether to perform a card trick that makes people say, now that's magic. Preserve the magical quality of the haunted pack by minimizing any extraneous movements that might explain the animation. The mesmerizing action of the cards completely conceals the subtle movements of the hip, and the end result could truly be called magic. In Between the Palms, the wise close-up performer quickly learns that spectators are always more interested in things that happen to them personally than things they are merely watching happen. With this effect, remember to emphasize the special role played by each and every audience member, and you will have ensured their continued interest throughout the presentation. But now, in contrast, let's watch the close-up arena become the stage, and the cards become the vehicle for romance and drama. Something that amazed me, and maybe it would be of interest to you too, is I found out that every deck of cards has a set of twins that are married to twins. Did you know that?
No.
Set of twins that are married to twins, and I'll show you what that's like. We will only use 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Now, twins are married to twins, so obviously the kings are married to the queens. So the first king, a dark-haired man, he's married to a queen, a brunette. Now, his twin brother is married to her twin sister, another brunette. Obviously, he's being a twin. Now, they went out on a double date, and as soon as they got there, the 2 ladies went together upstairs to the powder room. Now, as soon as they were gone, that's something we can all relate to, isn't it? Now, as soon as they were gone, the first brunette, the first dark-haired king, well, he goes up to the bar and he sets himself right down next to a redhead.
Oh, no.
And his twin brother goes right in and sets himself down next to the other redhead. Just then,
Sounds like trouble.
the wives came back from the powder room, as they sometimes do. They see what's going on, and the first brunette, why, she sees what's going on, so she sits herself right down next to that one redhead. Her twin sister comes in, and she sets herself right down next to the other redhead. Well, a situation ensued, a lot of hair pulling, a lot of arguing, the dust flew, and once it all cleared, the first brunette, why, she ended up grabbing her husband by the ear, and she dragged him home. The other brunette ended up grabbing her husband by the nose, and she dragged him out of there, too. Now, I know what you're probably saying to yourself right now, what the heck happened to those redheads? Yeah. Well, that's a good question. See, the first redhead, she goes across the street to the dance hall, and she ends up finding herself a red-haired man. The second redhead goes across the street to the dance hall, and she finds herself a redhead man, and they all lived happily ever after. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know, when people see magicians do stuff like this, you know, one of the things they tend to say is, boy, I'd hate to play cards with you, you know, boy. But a gambler would never do that because he wants you to feel comfortable betting all the money you've got, you know, and if it looks like you know how to handle cards. So when gamblers get together, they don't have fancy ways to demonstrate their ability. So what they do is they try to get together and say, they try to cut to 4 of a kind from a shuffle pack. You know, for example, to the 4 8s, right? Or the 4 7s. That was just a demonstration. It was just a demonstration. If I really wanted to do it, I'd go one step further by taking half the cards face up and shuffling face up into face down. See, that adds a dimension to it because now, no matter which way I turn the deck, at least half the cards face in the opposite direction. Now, it doesn't matter what cards we cut to. So let's cut to, for example, the 4 jacks. Now, every time I cut to a jack, I'll take it out of the deck so you don't have to remember the suits, for example. And there's no way, again, that I can cut to the jack of spades. Now, I don't need to. So all I have to do is cut once, twice, and 3 times, and I'll get the next jack. So that's 2 jacks. But every time I cut to a jack, it becomes more difficult. See, there were 4. Now there's only 2 remaining in the deck. But if I cut once, twice, and 3 times, I get the 3rd jack. See, but now there's only 1 jack left, and there's 49 face-up, face-down cards. I want to try to find the last jack the fancy way at the count of 3. Are you ready? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it was fancy, though, wasn't it?
Look good. That really looked real good.
Well, let me ask you this. Would this be a good trick? If I could take that 4 and just cast a shadow over that 4 and cause it to change into that last jack, would that be a good trick? Would that be a good trick?
Impossible.
Yeah, it'd be a great trick. I didn't say I could. I just it'd be great if I did. It'd be a lot better if I were to just rub this 4 over these jacks and change them into the final 4s. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I did cut to 4 of a kind. But you know the deck that we shuffled face up and face down? The entire deck now faces the same way. Each and every card has straightened itself out, except for those 4 jacks we wanted, right in the center of the deck. This is the explanation for Brother John Hammond's Gemini Twins trick. The setup that you'll need is the Queen of Hearts, King of Spades, and the Queen of Spades. All you'll need are these 4 cards and Brother John Hammond's Gemini count. And when we called Brother John to ask his permission for including this effect on this series, he made a point of emphasizing the importance of doing the Gemini count without any setup, so that there's no hesitation as you go from one card to the next. The Gemini count is essentially a double lift from the center of 4 cards, followed by a double lift from the bottom. Now here's how that would work. You push the top card forward, and the left middle finger buckles the bottom card. That leaves the 2 center cards projecting outward just a little bit from the right as the right hand pulls that all the way to the right, and then you flip the cards over so that they lay flush. The last thing you want to do is try to hold a double without showing its thickness. If you allow the cards to fall flush, there's no break, there's no get ready. And this is the point that was emphasized strongly by Brother John on the phone. In doing a double lift from the packet of 4 cards, you push first 3 cards over with the pad of the left thumb, then the left middle finger drags and retains the 3rd card from the top, which means that the double is left to be flipped over. So that's the, let me repeat that for you. You push forward, the left middle finger buckles, you pull out the double and flip it over. The left thumb, the pad of the finger, is at the upper left-hand corner. You push 3 together as a unit. The left middle finger drags the 3rd from the top, and that leaves the double free to be flipped over. Now that you've learned the Gemini count and the double lift off of a packet of 4 cards, just as Brother John does it, we'll continue on with the sequence. A reminder, Queen of Hearts, King of Spades, Queen of Spades. You do the Gemini count, which takes the double out of the center to show the first king. Set that down, the double lift to show his wife. Set that down, show his twin brother and her twin sister. Now the first displacement takes a card from the bottom and moves it to the top. And as Brother John Hammond says, the 2 ladies went upstairs to go to the powder room. That's all you need to do to displace the cards to allow a showing of the king and the redhead. Another lift from the bottom, a king and her twin sister. Now the ladies come back from the powder room, so all you do is take the card from the top, put it back to the bottom, and now the brunette will end up sitting right next to the redhead. And the other brunette sits next to her sister, the other redhead. At this point, in a moment, Brother John would do a double deal, which is turning over the top and bottom card at the same time as if they were one card. Instead, Louis Falanga suggests a displacement, which is much easier to do, which takes the 2 cards out from the center as they get into a fight, and the right hand's packet goes to the bottom. Now, that displacement allows you to continue doing Gemini counts as opposed to the double deal, which is rather difficult. So now you do another Gemini count showing how the brunette grabs her husband and her sister grabs his twin, and they leave. Now all you have to do is the Gemini count one more time, and you'll see the redheads. So you do a double from the center, the double from the bottom. Meet a red-haired gentleman for the big ending. Set that down, and the other redhead meets another red-headed king, and they all lived happily ever after. You know, the beautiful part about this, it's human characteristics that are changing, not just cards. And we certainly thank Brother John Hammond for allowing us to give it to you now. This is the explanation for Martin Nash's title bout, which was originally printed in Any Second Now, written by Stephen Minch. It's Martin's handling of the classic plot, Gambler versus Magician. What you'll need is to alternate two sets of four, like I use the 4 jacks and the 4 fours. Martin tends to use the aces and the kings and alternates those. In my experience, I found that in the end, when I ultimately cut to a genuinely indifferent card like a 4, it seems to be more convincing that I've messed up than if I cut to an ace or a king. Once you get that alternating set up, all you have to do is take one of those cards, place it on the bottom, the rest goes on top. At this point, you'll secretly reverse that bottom card, setting yourself up for Tenkai's optical reversal. What you'll do is you'll riffle down, cut the deck at this point, and then just revolve the hands as you put them what seems to be face to face. Actually, you've done nothing except revolve the right hand packet like this, but now you're set up to give the cards a shuffle. Just make sure that you don't interfere with that stack that you've got on top of the deck. When you push those cards flush, at this point all you'll have to do is a series of double cuts to bring the double card to the top of the deck. I buckle here to get 2 cards to come down. I get a break with the pad of my thumb. I just double cut those cards to the top to show the first jack. At this point you'll do a double lift, set that card down, buckle to get your break, over 2, and just repeat the double cut to bring the next jack to the top. Again, just double lift. Again, you'll buckle to get a break over 2. What you're cutting is really a 4 and a jack to the top in the double cutting sequence. So now you've got the jack, that 4's underneath. Again, you'll double lift, actually be setting a 4 onto the table. At this point, all you have to do now is cut 1 4, the last 4 to the top. And I do that, I kick cut. I'm just going to brush and drop that off, as apparently I've made a mistake. The 4th card is an indifferent card. By placing this on here, you're now sandwiching. Here's the situation that you're going to get. You're sandwiching those 4 face-up jacks in the center. I take out the 4, place it onto the table, act as if, would that be a good trick if I could make that last 4 change into a jack? They all confirm, sure, that would be a great trick. In doing so, what they're actually saying is, well, if you could change that 1 card, it would really be great if you could change those. And that is, in fact, what you do. You take that 4, you rub them over here, you change these, what seems to be the 3 jacks into the 4s, you set them down like this, show your hands empty. At that point, you'll take some applause, then pick up the deck, and you show that all the cards are facing the same way except for those final 4 cards face up in the middle. Boy, I hope you're trying this routine, because I can speak from personal experience. It's a real crowd pleaser. The key to making twins a joy to watch is to be so comfortable and confident with the techniques that you are able to execute them without conscious thought. Once you are able to perform the Gemini count without effort, then you'll be able to put your entire conscious mind on telling and enjoying the wonderful storyline. Only then can you tap into the real secret of what makes this work, which is, it isn't just a card trick. The cards take on a life of their own. And the real secret for maximizing the impact of the gambler versus magician is this. People generally assume you can successfully execute any trick that you begin. Therefore, if you can succeed after they really believed that you screwed up, then you will have added the powerful element of surprise to an already amazing effect. So be convincing as you act out your mistake, and you will have perfectly set the effect up for maximum impact. Coming up, you'll see our favorite two approaches to the classic plot of an impossible location by means of stabbing the pack. Well, thank you, thank you. I'm going to cut the cards just one time. What I'm trying to do is arrange the cards in a situation that's going to be surprising. Now, I'm not sure if I could have, but I made an effort. Here in my pocket, I have an envelope. And what I'd like you to do is insert the envelope into the deck anywhere you'd like.
Okay.
Now, there was no way that I could have predicted where she would put that. That's why I tried to arrange the cards in a certain way. See, actually, let me show you this. Did you notice here? This is, in fact, my prediction. My prediction. Should have mentioned that a moment earlier, but it is predicting where you would insert that card in the deck. See, the cards are in new deck order. Ace through king, ace through king, ace through king, ace through king, and only one card in the deck is missing. Only one card. And you've inserted the envelope right between the two cards, indicating where one card's missing. 6 of spades, 8 of spades. And if you'll look inside my envelope, the prediction that I made was, in fact, the 7 of spades. But this time, I'd like you to shuffle the cards out of new deck order so that no one could predict exactly where those cards would fall. And I'm going to show you how to stab the pack in a different way with my trusty Ginsu knife. You know when they say cut the deck? This is what they're talking about. No, don't worry. This will kill you. This will kill you. I'm going to have 2 cards selected. If you'll pull one out there, and if you'll pull one out as well.
Okay.
Okay. Any card at all. Show it to yourselves as well as to our friends at home. Okay. And I'm going to have the cards returned together. So let's see. I'll have you return your card. And if you'll return your card, that's the only criteria, is that the cards go inside the deck together. Okay? And I want to give the cards a shuffle like this so that there's no way that any of us could tell exactly where those cards would fall. So now the cards are lost down into the center of the deck. Okay? Now he's fancy. Now I'm going to encircle the deck with this poor man's handkerchief here so that I can't get to the deck to manipulate it in any way. Isolating the cards inside here. All I need now for the dramatic big ending is a drum roll. Okay, if you can all give me a drum roll, please. I'll take the deck and I'll stab. Now, there's no guarantee. Let's take a look here. Now, hopefully, and there's no guarantee, and there's no way to know until the very end, if I have, in fact, found the 2 selection. What was the name of your card?
Jack of Diamonds.
And what was the name of your card?
The 9 of Clubs.
The 9 of Clubs and the Jack of Diamonds. Let's see.
Oh.
There's the Jack of Diamonds. That's one, but let's make absolutely certain. Yours was
The 9 of Clubs.
the 9 of Clubs.
Wow, that was great.
Steve Beam's opening stab is based on Bill Simon's prophecy move, which Bill Simon printed in his book and published in 1952, Effective Card Magic, the Effective Card Magic of Bill Simon. All you need is a new deck order, ace through king of all the 4 suits, and you take out whatever card you want from the center, let's say in this case the 7 of spades, and you put it into an envelope. And on the back side of that envelope, you write my prediction and you put that into your pocket. You then cut the deck at that point, with the 6 going to the bottom and the 8 going to the top. So they insert the card or the envelope into the deck anywhere, like this, and to perform the prophecy move, you take the upper half of the deck, the right hand palm up, you turn the hand palm down as you take the envelope, and then you turn the hand palm back up as the envelope goes to the bottom of the deck. So all you've done is really cut the deck exactly where they have inserted it. And that will end up placing the 7 of spades in the envelope right between the 6 and the 8 of spades. So one more time on the prophecy move. They insert the envelope anywhere they want into the pack. The right hand takes the upper pack, turns palm down as you take the envelope. Show your prediction as you go back to the bottom, my prediction. Then you just spread the cards out and show they're in new deck order. Now, one thing that you'll want to keep in mind is that I start out by just doing a false cut. I just kick cut the top card, top half of the pack into the left hand, and drop that and do this. That's none of the cards change as I do that. But by doing that in the beginning, you've set yourself up to explain why, when you end up spreading the cards like this, the ace through king doesn't start at the beginning. Because quite often you're going to find yourself, as we have here, ace through 7 at the bottom, 9 through king at the top. But in the times that I've done it, it's never been questioned as to why that isn't in ace through king, ace through king, ace through king, ace through king. It's just accepted as that's the way it turns out. You open up the envelope and dump out the 7 of spades. You make your deck in new deck order, and it's a wonderful effect from Steve Beam. This is the explanation for Nate Leipzig's card stab. It was first explained in Di Vernon's tribute to Nate Leipzig. You have 2 cards selected and returned to the deck together. You get a break below those 2 cards, so I will use the ace and the 2 of hearts, and you just double cut those to the bottom. So now the 2 cards are on the bottom of the deck. Now you're going to do an overhand shuffle, retaining the bottom card. As you see, the second card comes out in the stack here, and you just shuffle the second card to the top of the deck. So now you have 1 card on the bottom and 1 card on the top. Either do a pressure fan, which strongly bows the deck this way, or you can spring the cards from hand to hand, putting a strong downward crimp in the deck. As you do so, now the entire deck has a bow in it. As you cut the cards, you then put a strong downward crimp there. So really, this is the situation that you have. Whenever you squeeze the pack, you'll be able to open up, get a nice wide opening in there. You hold the deck like this, you cover it. Nate Leipzig used a newspaper. We'll just use a napkin as you wrap it around like this. And you can set the cards down as you take out your knife. Okay? Open the knife out. And I have them give me a drum roll. Now I've wrapped the deck in such a way that there's some slack in the cover. Enough slack to allow that deck to open out so that you don't have to concentrate on what is going on as you stab the deck. You squeeze like this. In essence, as you can probably see there, you can see the deck opens up as you then stab straight between and then allow the deck to close behind. Now you tear the paper away and dramatically lift the upper packet to show the first selection. Leipzig would look at the card, express a little relief in the fact that he was doing something that perhaps his entire career depended upon, and then dramatically flip over the second selection, and then he would lift the hands and broaden his pose for as somewhat of an applause cue. And that's Nate Leipzig's card stab. In theater, I've heard it said that the best actors are actually reactors, and that the best acting comes from reacting. If this is true, then the perfect way to naturally cover the prophecy move is to simply react to the realization that the envelope must be turned over in order to show the other side. Your excuse for turning the envelope over then becomes so genuine that you'll easily slip the method to an incredibly powerful effect right past them. In the Leipzig card stab, if you have put the crimp into the deck properly, then you'll have enough faith to let go of the deck. Emphasize the hands-off quality, and hopefully, after seeing you perform this effect, every time they cut the cards, they'll think of you. Returning to our action, our next performance set makes use of items found naturally on dining tables, making it perfect for the many people who perform in restaurants, bars, or at cocktail parties. So have you ever heard of the inch of wine that blows your mind?
No.
Well, we got an inch of wine here, and a glass, and a deck of cards, and a scarf, and that's really all we need for this. Pull out any card that you'd like. Got it? And show it to our friends at home. Okay, and return it to the deck. So you'll remember your card, won't you? Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Now all we need is a random card from somewhere down in the center. Let's see, why don't I take this? Now that's not your card, is it? Jack of clubs. I'm going to place the Jack of clubs just over the inch of wine. Now all I have to do is take the handkerchief and flick, and it changes visibly into your card. Is that your card?
Oh my gosh, that's my card.
And I guess this is my wine. This is the explanation for the inch of wine that blows your mind. It's just a colorful name for the card appearing in the wine glass. The idea of spinning a wine glass that's held by the stem has been used for some time. And in every context that I'd ever seen, the entire deck was in there that ended up being revolved for a transformation of some sort to take place. I recently did a lecture tour through Italy, and I met Nevio Martini, who showed me the idea of putting a double card, just two cards back to back inside of a glass of wine, and then under cover of a cloth napkin, he just turned it for a transformation. And I loved the idea, the simplicity of just changing one card, and I asked for his permission to use it on this videotape series. And in doing so, I tried to make it a little more involved. I added the water, and I added the selection so that it changes into a selection. But it's as simple as you can imagine. Let's get a very obvious card on top of the deck. Let's take the Ace of Spades and have that be the selection. And let's say we have the Queen of Diamonds come out on top. So now you have an indifferent card face up on top. You get a break underneath the selected card, and you lift the two together, and you place them inside the glass of wine. Okay? Get a wine glass that will hold the double this way. Now you just, while retaining the deck inside of the hand, just position your hand so that you can pivot the fingers as the handkerchief passes over it this way. All you're going to do is this. And they would see the transformation take place. Now, holding the deck in your hand, you take out the double, thumb off the selection, toast them, and then you get to drink an inch of wine for yourself. I hope you enjoy it. In the card and wine glass, from a presentation point of view, giving the wine credit for creating the magic takes the focus off of the deck, the napkin, and the glass itself. The presentation then provides subtle, yet valuable distraction. As for the technique, it's necessary for them to believe in the singularity of the card and the glass. That's why the handling of the deck, double, glass, and napkin must all be coordinated to minimize any potential conflict. In our concluding performance, we combine three dominant dimensions of card magic into a single performing unit. Our first effect seems to showcase sleight of hand abilities of an extraordinary level, while the final effects seem like something that could only happen by magic. The next thing that I'm going to show you is actually a very famous trick. It's a very famous trick. Did you ever hear somebody say, hey, he's not playing with a full deck?
Yeah.
Well, this is the trick they were talking about, because it doesn't use a full deck. It only uses 8 cards. That way you'll be able to concentrate on everything. Okay? We're going to use the 4 aces, the ace of diamonds, the ace of clubs, the ace of hearts, and everybody's leader, the ace of spades. Okay? We put it right at the tip of the famous T formation. Now, these 4 cards here are just indifferent spot cards, just random black spot cards, okay? And I'm going to place one of those on top of the ace of spades, okay? Then I'm going to take an ace and place it among these cards. And I cause the magic to happen like this. That's all I have to do.
Right.
That's all I have to do, and that first ace has, in fact, changed places with the spot card that was, just a moment ago, on top of the ace of spades. Now, you probably didn't know what to look for. You didn't know what's going to happen, but now you do. Now you'll know what to watch for as I place the 8 here, and I take the next ace, place it right inside of here. The magic takes place like this. That's all you have to do. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next ace has traveled. But now you know what to look for, and now you have one last chance to catch it.
We're going to catch it.
Watch the next ace go as I place it right inside of here. All I have to do is give it a magical move like this. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. The last ace having traveled. Let me give the cards a quick shuffle here, and I'm going to try and do something completely different. Unlike anything that we've seen up to this point, kind of starts the same. We need a card selected, so if you'll do me a favor, I'll just riffle down. If you'll say stop at any point,
Stop.
right there, I'd like you to take that card, show it to everyone here, and also show it to our friends at home. Okay? Now, what I'd like you to do is to tear that card. Tear that card in half in your mind.
Oh, in your mind? She already did it.
Well, as long as you've started, go ahead and tear it one more time. Tear it in half again.
Okay.
Tear it in half again.
Again.
In fact, vent all your frustrations on that card. Okay? Let's see what we've got here. Okay, now I guess the most logical thing to do, since we've got all these tiny little pieces, is to see if we can't restore this card back to its original new shape. Well, here, why don't you take one of these pieces as kind of a souvenir.
Okay.
Actually, that's a bit of a receipt. Okay? A bit of a receipt, because we're going to take these cards, and I'm going to paper clip them together. And that corner is going to identify the card that you originally selected, the same way your thumbprint would identify you. Your thumbprint only identifies your thumb. That corner will only identify one card. So watch these pieces closely. All I have to do is pass my hand over them just like this. And oh, well, wait a second. That's not your selected card, was it?
No, but I'll take
maybe your card of choice. That's my card. In fact, I never leave home without this card. That's the strange thing. When I do leave home with this card, though, it's in my wallet. Now, if this card is here, that can only mean...
No, it can't be in your wallet.
But before I check, now, make sure there's nothing hidden in between my fingers, nothing up my sleeve, nothing concealed between the folds of my flesh. Here I go, just back here in my back pocket. Notice I'll only take it out with 2 fingers. There's my wallet. The place where this card was in my wallet is right there. But you see, this card is restored. This card is in new shape except for one corner.
That's impossible.
But let's make absolutely certain, was this, in fact, your card?
No way.
I still would rather have that card.
Well, I tell you what, this is the one that you're going to get, and I'm never going to leave home without this one again.
Thank you.
You know, in seeing something like that, there's really not much that you can do beyond that, but I am going to try. I'm going to try and go one step further than that by taking the deck. We'll give the deck a quick mixing just like this. Now, it doesn't matter what card we use. I'm going to shuffle through the cards just like this. Anytime you see a card that you want at the face of the pack, just say stop, and I'll stop anywhere that you say.
Okay. Stop.
Now, I was starting to take the 7. Are you happy? You want the 7 or the 5? You can take your choice.
I want the 7.
You want the 7. Now, see, that's why I asked. You can never tell for sure. So that was a pretty random select. No way I could have known in advance that you were going to take that. Now, let's see. Let's have another card selected in a different way. I'd like you to insert that card anywhere in the deck that you'd like.
Okay. Face down like this?
Yes. In doing so, you have actually touched 2 different cards. There's one above it. There's one below it. I'll even show you the cards so that you can choose which of those 2 you would like. Would you prefer the 5 of spades or the jack of spades?
The 5 of spades.
The 5 of spades. Now, this trick is full of choices. Now, see, you could have chosen a different card here. You could have chosen a different card here. Now, you even get to choose which card we use first. Which would you prefer of the 2 cards that are on the table now?
Well, of course I want you to use my 7.
The 7 of diamonds. Very good. All I have to do is take the 7 of diamonds and rub it against this card, and it changes. The back changes colors. It turns to an entirely different color. But I'll try the same with yours. All I have to do is take the 5 of spades and rub it against the back of the queen, and the 5 of spades changes colors as well. Now, that's as amazing as that may seem. All I have to do is give the cards a cut like this and rub, and every card, every single card in the deck changes colors. Each and every card, except for, of course, for the one card, the Queen of Hearts, and to cause it to change, all I have to do is rub those cards like that, and even the Queen changes color. Every card in the deck. This is the Darwin Ortiz handling of Jazz Aces. When we called Darwin to ask his permission to include it on this series, he made sure that we give original credit to Peter Kane for the concept of Jazz Aces. All you'll need are 4 aces, with the ace of spades on top, and 4 indifferent cards. We use the 8 of clubs, 9 of clubs, 8 of spades, 9 of spades, just as Darwin did. Those are in the left hand. They're actually all together. You thumb over the 4 aces, and as you do so, you're going to get a break underneath one of those indifferent cards, the top card there, and you pick up 5 cards. The extra card is there. Thumb off the ace of diamonds, the ace of clubs, the ace of hearts, and then you set the double on top of that, effectively switching this indifferent card for one of the aces. Now you'll place the aces apparently in a row here. What you're going to have are 2 aces, the indifferent card, and the other ace is on top of the deck, or the packet here. And showing these cards, you're just going to move the bottom card to the top so that you can now turn the packet face up and do an Elmsley count showing 4 indifferent cards. Now you turn the packet down, place 1 card on top of the ace, and then show those indifferent cards again. Place the first ace, second from the top, make the magic happen. Now you'll do the old ram subtlety to show these as all indifferent cards. The old ram subtlety, you thumb over into the right hand, turn both hands palm up, and then thumbing both at the same time down. Actually, the left thumb dropping the ace. Okay? Thumb this over, show these 2, drop it down, and reveal that the first ace is traveled. Now, in picking the packet up again, you transfer the top 2 cards to the bottom, which is going to make it real easy for you to get that double lift to show another indifferent card. Place it on top of the aces. That's actually going to be the ace going there. As you place the next ace, second from the top, you make the magic happen. And now you're going to use Darwin's subtlety, which simulates the old ram subtlety. So you turn over the top card. Now you're going to do a double lift. So you drop this card, which is the ace, and Darwin pushes the bottom card over, drop it, show the top card, drop it, and reveal that the next ace has traveled. Pick up that packet of 4 again, transferring 2 to the bottom, allowing you to easily get a double showing an indifferent card. Drop it on top. Take what seems to be the final ace, actually the indifferent card that we had placed there. You snap, and then you show 4 indifferent cards as the final ace travels. This is the explanation for the card and wallet that was developed by Gary Plants and I and pried away from us by Louis Falanga of L&L Publishing for this particular series. The setup is you're going to need a duplicate card. The duplicate card will be on top of the deck. You tear a corner off of the other card, fold that card in half, place it inside of your wallet, place the wallet into your back pocket or your breast pocket, wherever you keep your wallet. Then you put a paper clip on one of your credit cards. Take that, some paper clips in the corner, and place that into your right pants pocket. At this point, all you have to do is force that duplicate card. We used the riffle force. They stopped, and we just picked up at the break to drop the 8 of spades onto the table. At that point, we asked them to tear their card. Okay? So they tear their card. As they're doing this, I'm reaching into my right pants pocket to take out the paper clips. As I bring out the paper clips, I also just bring out the corner in my right hand. So here's the extra corner that I've just taken out of my pocket. I pick up the pieces, I show them, and I just say, why don't you hold on to this as a receipt for your card? Now I put the paper clip around, one of the paper clips around the pieces, and I place the rest of the paper clips back inside of my right pants pocket. In doing so, I just loosely palm the credit card in my right hand, like this. To call it a palm is really kind of a misnomer because the card really is just very loosely held in the right hand. You hold the pieces inside the left hand in somewhat of a spellbound position, and all you do is just drop the credit card on top of them, just like this. Allow that to fall flat on top of the pieces. As you pick this up to show it, the left hand just curls down. You take the paper clip off, place that into your left pants pocket, and now you're cleaned up. You're now over. All you have to do at this point is milk the effect. So, wait a second, I never leave home without this. And every time I do leave home, I put it into my wallet. And at this point, all you have to do is milk the effect, take out the wallet ultimately, show that the card is there, delaying the moment as much as possible, open the card up, to show that one corner is missing, and then lift it up for confirmation, and that's the card and wallet. This is the explanation for Di Vernon's color-changing deck routine, which was originally printed in Inner Secrets of Card Magic. Now, we followed the card and wallet with the color-changing deck routine. We switched decks in the middle of the performance by gathering the cards up as they were tearing the card, put the cards in the card box. I was wearing a shirt with a breast pocket. I'm leaving the deck we're going to switch in the outer breast coat pocket to show you what we actually did. I just dropped the first deck into the inside coat pocket and took the other deck out of the shirt pocket as I continued on with the card and wallet routine. Then I took the cards out, and here's the setup for Di Vernon's color-changing deck routine. You have a red deck, obviously, and a blue card on top. The mate to that card, the duplicate, is face up, 3 from the bottom. So you take out what seems to be a blue deck, you turn it over, and you begin to Hindu shuffle. Take a small packet, which will include that face-up card, so you need to be a little careful at that point, and you continue to Hindu shuffle in small packets. A couple of times you'll just say stop as you see the card you want on the face of this packet. That subtly ingrains the fact that this is still, obviously, a blue deck without saying so much. As they say stop, you thumb that card forward and then continue to Hindu shuffle so that that blue Queen of Hearts is going to be near the face of the pack. Then, in an offhand way, you say, here, let's select another card in a different way. If you'll take this card and you go down to your one blue card and insert it in the deck anywhere, we'll have another selection. In this case, let's take the 5 of diamonds, and you set it down. So at this point, you take one of the selections, rub it against the blue back, further emphasizing the original color, and then show that one card has changed. You know, one of the things that I noticed about Vernon's material is he developed an appreciation for the effect by slowly building it up. Again, emphasizing the impossibility, a second card changes color, and you set that onto the table. At this point, you push this card flush, and what you're going to do is cut it. You get a break, one card above the ace of diamonds, and you cut that to the top so that your card is there. Now you rub these cards, turn it over, show that the entire deck has changed color. You'll come to the Queen of Hearts, which you had reversed in the beginning, and you rub that on the cards, and then turn them over to show what seems to be the final card in the deck, the entire deck having changed color, apparently one card at a time, right through to the full deck for your big ending, the final Queen of Hearts, changing colors. One of the first rules given to magicians is never repeat a trick. Yet here, as a result of carefully routining the progressive phases, each repetition seems more impossible than the last. In Jazz Aces, we haven't a storyline, a punchline, or any emotional hooks to rely on. Instead, we invite their focus, and we depend on their unrestricted observation of a practical impossibility to generate astonishment. While I enjoy seeing the use of theatrical techniques from time to time, there is a lot to be said for simple, well-engineered, and well-executed card magic. Invest the proper amount of time in these techniques so that they become second nature to you, and you'll be amazed at the impact it will have on people. In the card and wallet, we take advantage of the fact that the human mind is often a very poor recording device. By stressing the isolation of the wallet and how empty our hands are as they approach it, we create a vivid, final memory of the effect. Years later, after other details are long forgotten, they will lucidly recall the impossible conditions surrounding the appearance of their card inside of the wallet. And the beautiful part of Vernon's color-changing deck is that the magic doesn't take place on the face of the cards, but rather on the backs, a relatively rare occurrence in card magic. Vernon's handling has been constructed to emphasize the color of the deck without overtly saying, notice the backs of the cards are blue. Because of this, it is always a great surprise when every single card in the deck changes color. It is my great pleasure to now offer you an effect that we consider to be of exceptional value. Not only is it easy to perform, but in the end, using the prop we provided, you will be able to lock in the memory of your performance by giving a spectator a genuine memento of the special time spent with you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As a professional magic person, I tend to notice magical things happening around, but I think magical things happen all the time, and people just discount it as being a coincidence. Or, for example, did you ever think of somebody, and then the phone rings, you pick it up, and that's the person that's calling? Sure. Now, a lot of times people say, wow, what a coincidence. I tend to think that that's a magical something, right? I'm not sure what, but it's a magical something. Now, I'm trained to look for these coincidences. Now, a coincidence happened to me just the other day. It would have passed most people by, but being a professional magician, I looked for it. I said to myself, see, what happened is I dropped a deck of cards onto the Xerox machine. Now, most people wouldn't have thought twice about that, but me, hey, I'm saying to myself, maybe this means something. Maybe this means something. I pushed copy. I pushed copy, and this is what came out. Gathered the cards up. That's the very deck that I dropped onto the Xerox machine. Now, let's see if it meant anything at all. Would you help me with this?
I sure will.
Hold out your left hand just like that. Now, what I'd like you to do is cut off any number of cards and place it onto your palm. There we go. Now, I'm going to mark your cut, and as I do so, I want you to notice that out of all the cards that fell onto the Xerox machine, only one was face up. Only one. That's why I said to myself, hey, maybe this means something, right? Now, the card that you just cut to, I'll show it to everyone. Doesn't matter if I see it. You've cut to the 3 of spades, okay? Now, before we go any further, I want to be absolutely certain and confirm that there is only one 3 of spades in the entire deck. If you'd have cut there, it would have been different. If you'd have cut there, it would have been different. You, in fact, were the only one who could determine exactly where you would cut the cards. But now I call your attention to the Xerox. Do you see any 3 of spades at all in that entire cluster of cards?
No, there's a 4.
There's a 4 of spades. There's a 2 of spades. There's no 3 of spades. By golly, that must be it. Quite a coincidence, huh?
No, I don't believe.
Oh, there's a little doubt in your mind? Well, let's remove all doubt because, in fact, that was the only card that fell face up. A little bit of a souvenir for you. Don't tell him how he did it, though, okay? This is the explanation of your bonus effect, the Xerox card. The Xerox card was inspired by a routine done by Daryl. When we called Daryl to ask for his permission to include this version on this video, he asked us to mention Michael Weber's name because Michael's the guy that gave him the idea to use cards Xeroxed in his premonition effect. The routine that you're seeing now is completely different in every way from the routine originally done by Daryl, so I recommend that you check out Daryl's original routine in his lecture notes. What you'll need is the form that we provided, as well as a deck of cards. It's as simple as it can be. All you have to do is put the card that matches the card on your template on the bottom of the deck, and then wrap the deck up with the Xerox piece of paper. As you take the cards out, unfold it, just like this. Ask them to cut off any number of cards. All you're going to do is the old crisscross force. As they cut off a number of cards, then as you pick up the remainder of those cards, you place it at a right angle. As you do so, you reveal the fact that there's one card face down amongst the stack. You call attention to that. That gives you the time misdirection that you'll need to make the crisscross force convincing. You show the card, and you replace the cut. Then you ask them if that card appears anywhere else in the deck. You show there's only one. This is all just selling the effect after the fact. You show that it's not anywhere else here. That must be it. And to confirm, you turn over to reveal that they have, in fact, cut to the one card that fell face down on the Xerox machine. Now, what's really beautiful about this idea is the suggestion of taking your business card, place it right on the corner, and Xerox 50 copies of that. Turn it over and copy the other side. If you'll put your business card on the back side, it's not noticed as they search the cards to find their selection. Only when you turn it over to reveal that they have, in fact, got cut to this selected card, do they also notice that they've got your name, address, and phone number. Is an absolutely perfect giveaway for salespeople, trade shows, or any performing situation where you're facing a client. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for being with us. And thanks again to the many creative minds who have so generously contributed their material for this project. In doing so, they have helped spread immeasurable joy, not only to us, who will always gain pleasure in performing this great material, but to all the audiences who will now be able to experience a refreshingly powerful world of card magic, a world previously shared by precious few. I like to see this sort of contribution as the lighting of a candle that will, hopefully, burn brightly long after we're gone. Cavett Roberts says, to light such candles is almost a gamble with eternity, because who knows how many successive candles will be lit, or when, if ever, the flames will cease or the influence die. So rewind this tape, grab yourself a deck, and go out into that wide world and have fun.